Hi folks, welcome to the Contemplative Tribal podcast. I am Rathiulung and thanks for tuning in. Few weeks back, I was pleasantly surprised when I came across an Instagram profile named Let's Build a Library. I found that it seemed to have been initiated from a village in Manipur. From what I gathered then, it was a crowdsourced initiative appealing to people to donate books and financial support in order to set up a physical library in the village. Now, if you're not familiar with village life in Manipur, you may not be able to appreciate why this is so exciting. Let me put this in context for you. In most, if not all villages, and even in the main town of Tamenglong, now in most of these villages and even in the town, besides school libraries, there are no public libraries where people can have access to books and resources. The only way to get books to read is to go and buy them or to borrow them from another person. Of course, there's the almighty Google and internet search to which people are increasingly turning to these days, but still, for the purpose of education, for casual reading, there is very limited option. We obviously have a long way to go considering that we are still talking about having a library and providing access to books in 2020. But that's where we are, and I think this is a good start. In this episode, I talked to Nambi Panmei, who is a member of the team running this project. Here's what I've learned about the project so far. This is a project undertaken by young people, the Students Union of the village Chaengdai, for the village public library. It's called Let's Build a Library, and I thought that it would be interesting to talk with the folks who are spearheading this project. I really liked the concept, and I thought that the Contemplative Tribal podcast should give a shout out to them. But not just that, I wanted to chat with them and learn more about what they are trying to do and how they're going about with the project. Also, I wanted to hear why they undertook this project. And who knows, maybe this is a good example of how we might go about engaging in building our society. So I got in touch with Nambi Panmei, who happens to be another friend from Shillong. We have worked together at the Zillengrong Fellowship for years, and we have also been involved on exciting projects such as Cloud 13 and so on. I wanted to catch up with him, how he was doing, and especially in what ways he is trying to make an impact. So Nambi, good to connect with you again, and thanks for your willingness to talk about this Let's Build a Library project with me today.
Hello, Theo. Thank you so much for having me, and also a big thank you on behalf of everyone here at Let's Build a Library for picking up our story. It is such a pleasure to be here talking to you today.
So let me just jump right into this discussion, and let me ask you, can you tell us more about the project and what you're really trying to do with this project?
Yes, we have been planning to start a library, and we have been thinking about and planning about it for quite some time already. And yes, finally, we are really glad that somehow it is working out for us. In order to answer your question on why we undertook this project, I would like to make three quick points to put things into perspective. Firstly, we plan to create, or rather bring back, the culture of reading among our younger folks, because I feel like lately, reading has sort of uh, taken a backseat, and I'm talking this in from our local context. And these days technology has overtaken us in so many ways, and it has kind of pampered us in so many ways with the coming of this internet and mobile phones. And now I think instant gratification and cheap thrills, I think it's becoming a recurring theme. For instance, our attention span of reading has been limited to a screen grab of a mobile phone. I feel like this really hampers our ability to engage in deep reading and in our ability to articulate our thoughts. uh, reading in so many ways helps us shape our perspective about life, politics, career, religion, etc. and etc. I feel like you know we really need to bring back into focus reading into focus. Few years back when we were in high school, I remember reading novels used to be such a cool thing to do, and only the cool kids in school read novels and books, and they will kind of like talk, or rather they would reading about boast about reading novels in classroom. And also in order for you to fit into that elite group, you gotta have also read a book or two as well. So even for me, my first novel was Sidney Sheldon's The Sky is Falling, which I borrowed from a friend. I actually didn't understand much of what I read, but I did read it just for the heck of it, or perhaps to launch myself into that league of cool kids. In a nutshell, yes, we want to somehow make reading a cool activity again. Secondly, I'm sorry to put the Manglong, our lovely hometown, in a bad light. But like you said, as far as I know, there is no public library as such in our town for now, and it's kind of very disappointing to say the least. All I remember was there used to be an old building near the place where the Manglong Higher Secondary School stands now, but I think it is nowhere to be seen now anymore. And we were told that old dilapidated building used to be our district's library. So this project can also be seen as a small effort in drawing attention of the authorities or the government to the need of a good public library in our town. And the third thing I want to highlight is the fact that not everyone can afford or have the luxury, of owning a decent book collection, let alone a library, especially in our local setting. So that is where we want to step in, and we want to make books and library accessible to anyone who needs it, or anyone who wants to get access to a library. So we can't promise top class or high end books for now, but definitely we hope to have an awesome collection of books few years down the line.
So I've been keeping a track on your post on Instagram on Let's Build a Library profile, and you do put up updates on what kind of books you are receiving, right, from people. And I was quite encouraged to see that a good number of them are non-academic. You got a good number of fiction, a good number of novels, non-fiction as well, historical books, myths, self-help books. I was quite happy to see those because I think that we grew up with this mentality that reading is such a laborious and such something that you want to avoid, something that you are compelled to do. And I think that there's a need for us, our people, to begin to see reading as something that you do for pleasure, something that you do for your leisure, and you turn to books because you're interested to learn, you're interested to grow. And so to cross over from this very limited and academic perspective to looking at books as your friends, looking at books as your guide. Do you have any experience on that? Do you want to comment on that? How important is it to go beyond just reading for necessity, reading for compulsion, to a place where you are actually reading for pleasure and for interest? And more specifically on your project, how do you think Let's Build a Library, giving access to people with books and novels, might help in sort of pushing people towards that kind of a mentality?
Yeah, I'm really glad that you brought up this notion of reading for compulsion versus reading for interest or reading as a passion. We did grow up in a setting where reading is all about mugging up stuff, mugging up study notes and materials just for school exams, and very less on the concept of reading for fun or reading for leisure. The words lyric patho usually used to be such a huge turn off, and I don't know about you guys, but for me, it was such a big time turn off. All your happiness meter will drop that to zero. Anyways, personal experience. Okay, I feel this is partly because we're cultured into thinking that reading is no fun activity at all, and that we are not guided or we are not trained into looking beyond reading for school exams. So we also need to take into consideration and put this concept in mind that things done in coercion or things done by force are often counterproductive. I feel teachers and parents have a massive role to play in helping kids or younger people develop the desire or the interest to read beyond academic books, not just for exams and not just for school tests, etc. I quite clearly and fondly remember like one instance in school that has kind of stayed with me till today. Uh, it was, I think, almost year end, and it was those time where the school syllabus used to be completed, and then we will have free extra classes. And also, our English teacher, ma'am Azuana, announced in class that she will read to us that Mark Twain's The Adventure of Huckleberry Finn during for the remaining classes. So we were excited, and I personally remember getting thoroughly enjoying the stories that are being and that was being read to us, and I remembered how much I look forward to the next class, so that we could listen to the next episode, because our teacher would wittily leave us in suspense, like those Indian Saas Bahu serials where the ending would be so dramatic that you really look forward to see what happens next. And what I want to highlight here by quoting this instance was to highlight the fact that uh, teachers also can play such a huge role in shaping our reading habits and interests in books among the students and among the kids. So we Let's Build a Library plan to make people between age group of 13 to 20 years as our like kind of primary target group, and help them in any way possible during their formative years. So to start off, we are bringing them access to whatever books we can for now, and hopefully we believe that we can make an impact in their lives, no matter how small it may be for now, but we want to make impacts in their life through this small initiative that we are doing.
The other thing I would like to discuss with you is about another kind of shift that happens on another level. So the reaction that I had when I learned about this project and read more about it was, man, how nice is this project? How responsible of them to be doing something like this. And it struck me that the notions of responsibility, the notions of what comprise the activities of responsible young people is always shifting according to the shifting times. And especially today, as we speed into the future, things are always changing. The environment that we live in, the kind of technologies that we're dealing with are always shifting. And as we speed into the future, I do think that our responsibilities, what comprise as responsible activities, need to shift, need to change. And I think that constructing a library, or at least envisioning to construct a library is one of the ways in which we are being responsible, and you guys are being responsible. Just to elaborate, 100 years back, it's certainly not a priority to build a library. I mean, it would have been good if 100 years back there was a library, but today it's even more pressing, it's more of a priority. I guess sometimes if we are too stuck on the traditional notions of what it means to be responsible, what it means to be young people, what it means to be leaders, I think we're going to miss out, because traditionally our people never have had to engage with some of the challenges that we are facing today, because the world is always changing. And I think I would like to highlight such projects as ways in which our young people are being responsible and thinking about the future of the society. So, to put it concisely, I think responsibilities towards our society, towards our village, our towns, our cities, and our world at large are always changing, and we need to be introspective. We need to be reflecting very creatively about how we can do things and create things and envision things that will help us to deal with the curve that's coming ahead of us. So I would like to hear more about your take on this, your experience of this, perhaps in your village or in your context. But first of all, hats off to you guys for being creative and thinking out of the box and not settling for what a student union is supposed to do in the stereotypical or traditional way, but thinking out of the box and thinking for the future, thinking long term.
I'm really happy for the fact that you were giving out so much some good vibes for us. I wish more people gets excited by looking and reading our Instagram updates like I do. Anyways, thank you for those kind words. Well, I may not be able to give such an articulate answer as your question was. You being one person, as far as I remember, from our days together in Shillong, you who has the ability to explain like complex stuff and concepts by using one of your trademark YY noodle example. Anyways, yeah, I couldn't agree less with you on the notion of the shift in the responsibility and the need to get creative as we brace and come face to face with a lot of quote unquote change as we speed into the future. The last time as I was listening to your podcast, and you mentioned something really interesting about being a tribal and living in a metropolitan city. It made me the thing about the difference between the natures of the two societies that got involved. That is the society that we were born into, or the society we came from, versus the other society and their environment that we will have to encounter on a daily basis. The difference though is quite huge, and it can influence us in so many ways. Uh, Being responsible in present times, I feel, maybe totally different from being responsible 20 years, 40 years, 60 years ago from now. For example, traditionally for like us tribal youths, especially in older times, the definition of responsibility doesn't much stray beyond, I think, providing for the needs of the family, getting a house built, or finding a decent spouse and procreating children, helping in the paddy field or farms, or providing security for the family, so on and so forth. Now, with the change of times, I think the definition of taking responsibility has become more complex and much more faceted. We now live in a world of technology. Almost everyone owns a mobile phone or two these days, and I wouldn't be surprised if a shabby looking uncle going to his farm pulls out, a flashy top model phone. It is not a luxury anymore like it used to be, but more so a necessity now. Yeah, we are in constant engagement with real-time news, entertainment, and social media like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, WhatsApp, etc., etc. Through these available technologies, The media these days are loud and lousy and often very, very irresponsible, and it's very depressing when you go through like Facebook just to read feeds and all. It really depresses us. We are being bombarded with so much of data, information, contents, half-cooked news, and TikToks, and then the interesting ones are memes. My current favorite being the coffin dance, guys. It's very interesting. Yes, what and whatnots. Algorithms like also often control and direct us to certain types of contents, whether we like it or not. And I feel we really need to keep a tab on what types of contents we engage in, and also we should like filter out certain stuff which will which can mislead us, or which will do us no good. I think this in fact is being responsible in one way in this chaotic environment. Society will keep evolving, and changes are inevitable, and I feel we will also need to keep up with the changing times, but mind you, not at the cost of compromising our values like ethics, etiquettes, and life's principles. A piece of advice I think from us would be get back to the basics, read lots of books, and make good and informed choices for yourself and also for your community.
Well, from your posts and your updates, it seems as though people have been quite supportive and the response have been quite positive. I noticed that you have been able to collect a substantial amount of books and material. I would have also contributed my books, but I'm out of the country right now. But in any case, I think generally speaking, people will support you and people will help you when you innovate and when you sincerely work for the progress of the society, right? Can you talk to us more about some of these stories that of the kind of response that you're getting? I think you don't need to go into specifics, but if you don't want, but we would like to hear both the positive responses and also maybe some of the negative responses, some of the things that you have been discouraged by in the way people are not responding. So yeah, responses to your project, both positive and if any negatives.
We have only good things and good stories to tell for now, and in fact are overwhelmed by people's support and enthusiasm, and just a quick update. So far we have collected about, I think, 200 plus books, and this includes some donated old ones and also some brand new ones that are bought and donated by people. And also we managed to collect approx about 36,000 rupees INR from friends and families. Also, on the perks of doing this thing, we also got the privilege of interacting with many interesting people from different walks of life. Besides many of such meetings, we were really excited to have met these guys at the Reader's Bookstore at Manipur University campus. We had a nice, long, and productive chat over a coffee with them. And when we visited them last during special Women's Day book sale organized by them, one of the guys who runs the store, Tamu Damodar, I think he's a research scholar from JNU. He's a big guy with a kind smile. He promised us that they will surely come to our official library launch and conduct a book fair, and he told me that we will have lots of surprises also, and all. Yeah, and also we talked about interesting collaborations in the future. In fact, many people came forward to help us in different ways. Some helped us in picking up donated books, and some helped in book shopping, and some of her helped in cataloging, etc. And say in the local setting, an uncle also who recently attended the training program in bamboo crafts, he promised to make some bamboo furnitures for us. And everyone is willing to do their bit for us, and we're really blessed. And also we give a lot of importance to this idea of book donation, the donated books, and also to community participation, so as to build a sense of belongingness towards our project. For anyone who interacted with us or who came into contact with us in one way or the other. Yes, the world is not too bad a place after all. There are a lot of good people out there, like who are willing to just give a helping hand, or who are just willing to help you if we innovate, and if we create a platform which will have positive impacts in our society. So all we got to do is maybe think out of the box solutions, and create a platform for people to help. Also, we are planning to seek some help from the government in the future, especially for a library building, and we really hope to get a positive response from them as well. Also, lastly, if I may, we want to issue a little disclaimer here, and that is we named our library as Chaengdai Public Library, and this nomenclature itself, it could be a big turnoff, and it may sound very exclusive and very far away, but I want to let everyone who are listening to this podcast to know that membership to our library is open to anyone, anywhere whatsoever, and that it is not exclusive only for our community, like that. Maybe we should give you our first honorary membership already, bro. Anyways, jokes apart, we plan to give out membership cards soon, and it will only cost like a meager 20 to 50 or $100 at the most, or even lesser, to get a membership. Very soon we will work on that, and we will try to materialize it.
First of all, thanks for the offer of honorary membership. So I'm going to take it quickly before you change your mind. Secondly, though, Nambi, thank you so much for doing this conversation. Thank you for taking this time to chat and to share and to explain about the project. I've really enjoyed this conversation. And as I said in the beginning, this project is something that excites me, and I appreciate that you have taken this venture upon yourselves. And so I wish you and your team the very best. And I will be looking forward to see how this project progresses in the days and years to come. And I hope this venture that you guys are doing will inspire other villages as well. As I'm saying this, I'm kind of side winking to my own village, Chaengdai village. I hope that this kind of creative ventures will be taken up by young people for the sake of our society. So thanks again, Nambi. Take care, and give my best wishes to your family as well. Well, friends, that's it for today. But if you would like to know more about this project, you can reach out to them at their Instagram page, which is Let's Build a Library. Or you can reach out to Nambi at his Instagram page, which is Nambi_Panmei. And while you're there, make sure you leave a comment of encouragement, or simply share the word, or if there's anything that you can do at all to help them in this project, make sure you do that. Until then, and until the next episode, take care, and many blessings to you and your family.